BBC Sounds. Music, radio, podcasts.
Now, we all have our own ways of dealing with life's challenges. Each week in Journey of Faith, we explore how the belief in God or a higher power helps people to navigate the ups and downs of what life throws at them. Well, my guest this morning is a contemporary oil painter whose unique background significantly influences his art. Paul Murphin, who lives in Knaresborough, has a passion for the railways and for the diverse scenery and landscapes they traverse. He's also a musician. The Paul Murphin Band performs original folk rock with a Yorkshire edge and a touch of Americana. And, if that wasn't enough, he's also a part-time train conductor on the Harrogate line. Paul, welcome to the programme. It's lovely to chat with you.
Hi, Sarah. Yeah, lovely to chat with you. Nice to meet you.
Really good to hear from you. Let's just go back then, shall we, to the beginning and talk a little bit about your upbringing. Did religion play a part in your childhood at all?
Yes, it did actually. I went when I was really little. I used to go to St John's Oleton, which is near the dog racetrack in Sheffield. So I went there for a few years, me and my brother and sister, and then we lived in a place called Stocksbridge on the edge of the Peak District. They opened like a more Pentecostal evangelical type church, so. I spent quite a few years going to there, so and that's where I picked up a guitar. So everyone played a guitar there, so I just thought I'd join in.
That explains a lot. So we'll talk more about your music in just a second. But I just wanted to ask you. So you mentioned those two churches in Sheffield where you grew up. Were you dragged along to those churches? Did you just go along with it, or did you actually enjoy it when you were there?
I think majority. I think I was dragged along. Really. So. I remember being pulled out of the St John's Church when I was really young and getting told off for talking all the time and running around. But and then I used to really enjoy going to the next church, but that was more to see my friends really. I did enjoy it, but it was a community. But for me, it was more about seeing all my mates on a Sunday.
And it's where you picked up a guitar. Is that where your love of music first started then?
Yeah, it was, yeah. And just learning all these new songs I'd never heard before, like This Little Light of Mine and all these like gospel songs. So there was a few of us. We all learned different instruments and we'd jam together. So, yeah.
So how did you end up forming your own band? You've got the Paul Murphin Band. You've released music. You're doing really well. How did that happen?
Oh, I mean that was a lot later on. So that was I'd moved to Knaresborough at that time, and I'd just gone through a divorce, and I started to play my guitar because I didn't play my guitar for a while, and I just went into a pub and I used to just play music, and other musicians would join in, and we noticed the pub would get really full on a Wednesday night for people just coming to listen to us. So we decided, why don't some of us form a band, and it kind of came from that, really.
And before you dedicated yourself to painting, you toured with the band, didn't you? Where did you go? What was that like?
Yeah, so we played in, our last tour was in California.
Wow.
So we played. Yeah, we played in San Francisco and then toured north. And we played at a Christian music festival called Joshua Fest, and we supported like David Crowder, these big Christian artists in America. So that was really fantastic. And I played in South Africa and Europe. Yeah, so it was really exciting, great times.
And am I right in saying you were working in the rail industry by this stage?
Yeah, so I joined the railway when I was 24. So I've been on the railway for about 20 years now, 22 years. Yeah, I love the railway and, meeting people and meet all walks of life. So, I was based at Doncaster, then Leeds, and then I've been at Harrogate now for like 16 years.
And always as a train conductor, or have you done other things as well?
Yeah, always as a train conductor, because I like meeting people, and yeah, it's great. Yeah.
And what is it about the railways that you love and that inspires you? Because you must have done a lot of travelling. Obviously, you mentioned touring with the band, but travelling pretty extensively in the UK as well, I would imagine.
Yeah, well, it's great because we get like discounted travel, so I use that to its to its fullness. But yeah, it's great because I used to write a lot of songs. When I were if the train wasn't busy, if it was the middle of the day, I'd sit in my cab and write some tunes down. And then a lot of my songs are inspired by travel and railway. I mean, locally, they call me, in the local newspapers, they call me the singing train conductor, which I can't seem to
Fabulous.
drop that.
But
It always keeps rearing its head.
you're also a painter, and we're going to talk a bit more about your music a bit later as well. But you're also a painter, and I suppose the thing about train travel, of course, is that to state the obvious, it involves movement. Obviously, you stop at the stations, but it's
Oh,
mostly you're on the move. So, is that something that you try and capture in your paintings? Because your pictures are wonderful.
yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's big skies. I love. I think as I'm looking, on me travelling, I'm going over viaducts and beautiful areas. My office its view constantly changes, so it's a great office to have. But I'm always looking out and catching things like infrastructure. I love painting railway
Mm.
infrastructure. Yeah, and just landscapes and yeah, it's great.
Let's talk a bit more about your faith then, because you went through, well,
Yeah.
I can really describe it as a pretty dramatic experience involving your friends. Just tell me a bit more about what happened.
Yeah, well, this was in March 2024. I go regular to Slovenia to his house, and we have like retreats there. The band's played there, and I absolutely love going. But this one time, I really felt that something was going to happen, and I really didn't want to go. I almost told him when we got to the airport that I was not going to go, and I just lost my uncle as well. But for some reason, I knew I had to go to Slovenia. It was really quite strange, and I was having these really dark dreams and things like this. Um, and then on the Wednesday night that we were there, I wrote a song about losing a friend. Um, I wrote it all down, and then next day we had an incident with my, very close friend. Um, the neighbour asked if we could move a tree. There's no real health and safety over there. It's like the 70s of UK.
Hmm.
And so we went down, and this man from Ukraine, his family were staying there as well because of the war. And so his daughter came down, he came down, me and my friend, and there was this tree wedged under some cement, a large tree, and I was like, we shouldn't be touching this tree, But anyway, the guy were there with a chainsaw, and my friend were there,
Oh
so we
my
started to pull
goodness.
it out. Now I'm thinking we shouldn't be doing this, and then it was sprung loaded, and it hit my friend under the chin, and he flew about 10 foot in the air and
Oh.
landed in the river
Oh.
face down. So, so I jumped into the river and managed to pull him. He's only a small chap, but you know what they say about weight when someone's, dead weight type of thing.
Mm.
Managed to pull to the side, and it was complete. There was absolutely nothing. There were blood everywhere, and I honestly thought we thought that he'd gone, and it were. But I just started praying into his ear, um, and yes, just started praying into his ear with blood running through my fingers, and after a couple of minutes, he just made a groan, and I thought, "Oh wow, he's still with us." But I just kept praying, and it was just like an unusual prayer, really hard to describe. But
So what were you saying
just
to him?
whis-
Can you remember?
I can't really remember. I think I was just praying um, for him to be alive, but
Mm.
it were unusual. It were like very short words and just like whispers, and then he started to, you know, mumble and nod his head slightly. So yeah, so to me it was just incredible, really. And then the helicopter came along with the police and the ambulance, And I was saying, come over, and they were walking really gingerly towards me, and I'm thinking, why aren't you running? But they thought it was a potential crime scene, which I didn't think about.
Oh, so they thought you could have been
They,
implicated in
yeah,
some hideous... Oh, my goodness, that
yeah,
is...
yeah, because
Wow.
yeah, because it was in the middle of nowhere. So they told me, do not leave the country.
Oh, my...
And
Wow.
yeah, yeah, but the Ukrainian daughter that was there, because she's young, she's TikTok and all this. She filmed the whole thing. So she says, "Well, I've got video footage to say it's not been a murder or whatever. It's attempted." So she showed the video to the policeman, and he said, "Oh yeah, right, okay, that's fine. I can see that he's just been hit by a tree." Yeah.
What a story.
So I got,
How
yeah.
what how was he in the end? I mean, obviously the helicopter came, the medics
It,
came.
it made well, yeah. I mean, the doctor in the hospital say we could lose him. He had a bleed on the brain, but he made absolute full recovery, and so I just thank God for that. But it's what really interesting to me is how I was feeling before the incident. And then I showed the lyrics of the song to my friend once he'd recovered, and it was just about losing a friend and these dark feelings I would have leading up to the moment. I felt that something were preparing me for it. That's the whole thing that I took out of that.
Paul, music is really important in your life, and you ran a big event, didn't you, in Harrogate for a few years? Just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, this event was called True North, and it ran for 3 years. Um, and yeah, it was just like a celebration of creativity and us being creative beings, and I just wanted to, celebrate the creator really, but through art, all different forms of art. So at that time, I hadn't even lifted a paintbrush, but I asked if artists could come. They surrounded the floor, and then we had dance teams, and then my band and other musicians. So yeah, so this were an incredible time. Um, yeah, so that were called True North,
And it looked, I mean, I'd
and
seen
we got a lot.
I've seen some footage online, and I mean, it looked utterly amazing. It was brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, it were full at every time. I think there were about 900 people each time, and I wanted it to be a free event. Actually, I just wanted it to be where someone, because when I were being brought up in Sheffield, we missed out on lots of things uh, due to money, and I just wanted it to be something that anyone could come to. So um, I prayed about it a lot, and me and some friends prayed about it, and it was quite a lot of money to hire the hall, a few thousand, but and I didn't have any money at all, and but I were obedient to what I believe
Mm,
had been given me through prayer, and I just stepped out in faith really,
mm.
and the whole thing was provided for to the penny, and because I felt that it was the right thing to do, I didn't ask anybody for money at all. But all the money just came in, literally, that covered the event and paid the artists or whatever. Uh, so yeah, so that's a testimony in itself. But
Absolutely.
yes,
And you're a really busy man. I mean, I wish we could talk for longer, but we're running out of time. I mean, you're an oil painter, a contemporary oil painter. People can find out a little bit more on your website, paulmirfinart.com, Mirfin, Mirfin. And am I right saying you've even been commissioned to paint something for the King?
yeah. That I mean, I've only been painting 5 years, and so yeah, it's just gone really. It's really taken off in that way. I had a gentleman who lives in Harrogate. He approached me. He asked if he could meet me in his 70s, and he said, "I'd like to commission you for my friend." And I said, "All right, yeah, no problem." And he goes, "Yes, it's King Charles." It's his 70th. his 75th birthday is coming up. I'm like, all right. So he said, I'd like you to paint the tree that's outside Betty's tea rooms because Prince Charles planted it 30 years ago.
Really? I didn't know
And it's
that.
now it's a fully fledged oak tree. He says, could you paint that and we'll get it sent down to Clarence House.
Brilliant.
And now I'm like, right, okay, after I'd spit out my coffee, you know.
Did you get any
Said, yeah,
feedback
that's
from the
grand.
king? Did he tell you what he thought of it?
I got a lovely letter from the King's Console or whatever, which I've got up in my gallery. So they've said they've received the painting. It has been viewed. They're very happy with it, and I'll receive another letter once it's in situ. So yeah, it's really exciting.
Well,
Yeah.
it's been so lovely to talk with you. Great to hear about the band, about your time on the railway, about your painting as well. Have you got any more music coming out? Are you released? Do you release stuff regularly? Where can people find your music?
Yeah, well, we've got a new album's just come out. So, it's Gospel Train album. So there's some more songs on there. So it's all on Spotify and Amazon, and So yeah, if you Google it, if you search it up, you'll find it. Yeah.
Well, it's been brilliant to talk with you. Thank you so much for coming on. Artist, musician and railwayman Paul Murfin from Knaresborough, sharing his journey of faith story.
This clip is taken from BBC Radio Sheffield. Find us on social media, listen live on BBC Sounds and find out more at bbc.co.uk/Radio Sheffield.
BBC.